Today I'm delighted to be joined by Comet Resources' newly appointed Managing Director, Matt O'Kane. Matt, thanks for joining me in the studio.
Great to be here, thanks for having me.
Now, Matt, you're new to Comet Resources, having been appointed earlier this month. For those new to the story, can you tell us a little bit about you and your background?
Yeah, so I've had roughly about a 25-year career at the moment. It started off in banking and finance, moved into automotive and then into mining, where I've been for about the last 10 years. During that time, I've held senior executive positions in Australia, the US and Asia, and been either a senior executive or on the board of listed companies in Australia, Toronto and on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange.
Now, moving on to Comet Resources now, I understand you've had a number of recent announcements, including an update to your drill program. Can you give us an update on where Comet are at?
We had two announcements this week, which is the end of the announcements on the recent diamond drilling program down at Springdale. That program was primarily done to provide further information for geological resource modelling and also to provide material for metallurgical testing. Now, most of that drilling focused in the high-grade zone of the resource, which is 2.6 billion tonnes at 17.5% total graphitic content, TGC. Yeah. And we had some really exciting results from the drilling campaign. We had our highest ever intersection of 3.2 metres at about 51% TGC, and that was a part of an overall intercept of 42 odd metres, around about 17%, so extremely high grades, extremely big width of intersection there. There were lots of other high grade intersections in that area, and so the campaign's been a success. We got the information we need and we've got the material that we need for the metallurgical testing.
Current stage of the development, recap for me, what are the pros and the cons of this project?
So the pros of the project are, obviously it's in a stable mining friendly jurisdiction, being WA. The project is located on some fairly flat, easily, readily accessible land, so no problems there. It's close to infrastructure, both road is basically right on the site. It's not far from the Esperance port, and also it has ready access to utilities. Yep. And for what we know of the resource at the moment, it's high grade in certain areas, certainly that high grade area that I mentioned previously, and fairly close to surface with thick mineralisation, which should be amenable to open pit mining should we proceed to develop a mine in the future. And all of those things impact cost positively, some capital cost and some operating costs, so all good so far.
Can you explain for us the current state of play and the global demand for graphite and where it is in retrospect of other commodities?
Yeah, so graphite's going through a real change at the moment because you've had this traditional, what I'll call industrial uses of graphite, primarily refractory, foundry, lubricants, this kind of stuff. And what we have now is we have an emerging demand from anodes for battery electric vehicles. And this is all about the decarbonisation of the transport network. Now, what that's going to do over the next 10 years approximately is there'll be as much material required for the production of battery anodes as there is currently for the total industrial applications of graphite. So it's a huge growing market, and it really provides a lot of opportunities for developing graphite companies such as Comet to sell into not only the industrial part of the market but also into this battery anode part of the market.
Now, Matt, tell us what's next on the cards, or what can investors and potential investors expect next from the team at Comet?
As I said, this drilling program that we just recently completed has provided not only information for resource modelling but also for met testing. So that core is now off at the lab, and our metallurgists are working with the lab to refine essentially the flow sheet to produce the graphite from the core. So we'll have those results coming out in due course as that testing completes. On top of that, we have done an electromagnetic survey earlier on in the year which delineated a lot of really high priority exploration targets, and we've already had some success in drilling those targets and discovering new graphite deposits. So there's an option to explore further drilling and exploration upside. And apart from that, we'll just be waiting for the MET results to come out and then engaging with potential JV partners or offtake partners, or even potentially people interested in our research into graphene.
Fantastic. Well, busy times ahead for the team at Comet. Matt, thanks for joining me in the studio, and we look forward to more updates from Comet soon.
Great. Thanks for having me.